Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Pleasure Noyan Kano. If you're new here, welcome. I am a YouTuber based in London, United Kingdom. And if you're an OG, thank you for coming back here. It's been a while since I said that, and I don't even know if I said my introduction well. But today, I just had to come on here today and give you guys this gist, especially for my Nigerian people that would be considering relocating to the UK via school. I know the results of the election and whatnot. I've been running away from doing anything on relocation because I don't want to give you guys advice. And I didn't just wake up one day and just say, oh, I want to relocate. Oh, I want to go to school. It's been something that I have been planning to do for years. It just happened to have happened when everybody was leaving the country. So for me, it wasn't really about leaving the country, upping and leaving the country. It was really about, I really wanted this degree. And so the timing just worked. However, in today's video, I would be answering some questions, and I think I'm going to take in batches so that it's not a very, very long video of me just talking and explaining. But a long time ago when I just came here, in October last year, I put on my stories on Instagram that you guys should ask me any questions on coming to school in the UK. And you guys did ask me questions. So I'm going to take the questions in badges and answer because it's like a very long answer. Okay, so the first question is, how did you choose the university you decided to go with? And that's what this video is going to be about. I am studying for my master's in marketing at the Birkbeck University of London. I'm going to try my best not to sell my university, even though I am a student ambassador and that's my job, to sell my school. That's not what I'm going to do in this video. In this video, I'm just going to be telling you all of the things that I put into consideration before I settled for a school. So if that's what you're interested in, before you keep going, click the subscribe button if you haven't and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. So let's get into the video. The first thing I would say, to be honest, is not one thing I put into consideration. These two things went hand in hand. My course and how much it was. No. My course, how much it was, and the scholarship the school was offering. I don't think I put one above the other. So as I was checking for the course that I wanted to do, which I think is important, you kind of need to know what you want to study. And for me is, I wanted to study marketing, but with different schools, they call it different things. So you can see marketing management, some like it might not come in the same name with different schools, but when you read about the course and then you see that it's what you're looking for. I had to know the course I wanted to study. So I think that makes sense for it to be the number one thing that you do. You have to know what course you want to study. Coming into the UK, I know that they've been saying, oh, there's jobs. There are jobs, but trust me, you want to pick a course that you have an idea about. So I studied chemical engineering in my first undergraduate degree, but ever since I graduated from my undergraduate, my career has been in marketing. So I have experience in marketing. No one is going to give you an admission if you're switching career paths without any work experience. So for example, if you studied biochemistry in school and you're still going to read something biochemistry related, if you don't have work experience, it's fine. They'll prioritize the fact that that's what you did in your undergraduate level. However, if you're switching from something like me, I switched from chemical engineering to marketing. I had to have had work experience, relevant work experience, to show them that I have an idea of what I'm coming to come and do. So put into consideration that when you're choosing your course, a course that you actually know that you can excel in, because the educational system in Nigeria and the UK are not the same. You will really struggle if you have no clue what you're coming to come and study. So pick a course, and I think I just gave you some tips with picking a course. And again, as well, you want to pick a course that you are sure that you're going to get a job in once you're done with school. So yes, pick a course. I guess that's the number one. Choose your course. Choose your course, paying into consideration if you have relevant experience or there's a continuity between your undergraduate level, and that's because you're coming for your postgraduate studies, your undergraduate level and where you are currently. Okay, so you pick a course, look for the schools. I don't say school though, because you cannot definitely be applying to one school, except nothing else matters to you, except you have all the money in the world, you know where you want to be, blah blah blah. Maybe that's fine, then you can pick one university. But what's the guarantee that the school is even going to give you exactly what you're looking for? So pick a list of schools that offers these courses. Next, I'm going to give you the schools that I considered as a marketing person. Please, if you decide to check these schools, whatever you decide, that's completely up to you. But I'm going to tell you the schools I applied to. You know, I don't know the exact courses, I cannot check that, but I'm going to give you, and then why I did not go with them and why I chose the school that I went with. And I'll leave this list on the screen briefly so that you can also explore the options of this school, because I can imagine that it's overwhelming. There are a lot of schools in the UK that you can come with, but I'll leave you a list of the schools that I considered when I was coming. The first school was the University of Bristol, and I applied to the University of Bristol because it had some interesting scholarships and it had my course. To be honest, in no particular order, but I think I applied to Bristol first, alongside University of Lincoln. It's in England. Then I also applied to University of Strathclyde. I applied to Liverpool John Moores University. I applied to, well, this school that I'm currently going to, Birkbeck. I applied to Derby. Like I said, I applied to so many schools, but of course I took breaks because the admission process is not very easy. So I applied to like 3 schools early last year in 2022 January. I started my application process in January. Typically, like the first, like, so this video I really wanted to release it at the start of the year because I was like, that's when you need to start, especially if you're looking at going mid-year. You should have put in your application since January, if not December, you know. So I started my applications and I put it 3 schools. I gave it, typically it took about 1 month, sometimes 3 weeks, some took about 2 months, 3 months to respond. So I first gave January ones, that was 3, and I think in February and March I applied again, and then it kept going. The last schools I applied to was actually my school right now, Birkbeck University and University of Derby. And why were they the last? Because at the end of the day, the funds I was expecting was not available. I had an accident with my tooth that broke, so a lot of these schools required me to resume in September, and I was not ready. I was in the hospital, I was trying to get better. I wasn't ready to go to school. So these were the schools that I had in mind, and like I said, I chose my course first, the school, and I looked at the scholarship opportunities. Then I narrowed down my choices to 2. It was going to be between the University of Lincoln. Oh, I actually applied to University of Arts London as well. So I was looking at University of Arts London, I was looking at University of Lincoln, and then I was, to be honest, I applied for Birkbeck University. That's the university I'm currently in August. It was the last application. No, I applied in July, the last week or second to the last week in July. And that was the last university I applied. So at a point, I thought I was going to go with Lincoln, but it required you to pay a deposit of £2,000, which I did not have at the time. And you know, a lot of things were moving really fast. I had gotten my conditional offer. It had good scholarship. It was going to give me 5k off my fees, and the fees at the time was 16,200, and so it was a good deal, you know. But I did not have the initial fee that I needed to secure my admission. Now I'm going to move to the 4th thing you put into consideration. After paying your initial deposit, how much does the school require you to pay before enrollment? So they will give you a conditional offer. That is, oh, okay, we are giving you this admission if you meet with these remaining conditions we require of you. And so they'll first give you a conditional offer, give you an unconditional offer when you've met all the condition of your admission. Then when you come into the UK, you would do enrollment. You would enroll into the course. Now, some universities require you to pay at least 50% of what is left of your fees upon enrollment. And you need to do this enrollment in the 1 month when you arrive in the UK. So that's another thing to put into consideration. So that was the fourth thing now I was putting into consideration. And so the first school that I chose, which was the Lincoln School, required that after, so it was 16,200, they were removing 5k, remaining 11,200, right? Now they would require that I pay 50% of that 11,200 left before I can enroll. And I was asking myself that, do I have that money? So I put that school on one side and decided to apply for more schools and look for the opportunities the other schools provided to me. That was when I found University of Arts London. It was really pricey, but they were also offering a scholarship of about £50,000 to cover your admission and your living expenses. So I applied to it banking on the scholarship that I was going to get, because if I got that scholarship, then the university was fine. It offered my course, I was good to go, so I applied to it. I didn't get the admission. Once I did not get the admission, I did not even think about the school again. So now let's move to my school. Let me tell you why I chose my school. Do you remember when I say that I put into consideration the course? Yes, it had my course. 2, I put into consideration now when I applied for this school was in July. By July, I still did not have up to £2,000 to deposit for my school. And I'm going to be as real as possible. Like 2022 was a tough year for me. Like nothing went as planned. And that was how I knew that. Now, I don't want to go away from this video, but I'm just going to say that when I say that, for me, it wasn't really about relocating. It was just a point I was in my Christian journey where God said, I think you're ready to go to a new place now. I am saying, okay, don't worry, I will provide for you and take you there. But this video is not about my relationship with God. It's about how I chose my university. And I'm going to keep telling you, in the end, you see that it was God's plan. But yes. Anyways, for me now, it was now about the deposit, because I still do not have the 2,000 deposit that I was looking for most schools. Most schools require between 1,000 and 4,000 pounds deposit, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I put into that consideration. So Birkbeck had it had my course. It required me to pay just £200 deposits. This is not me selling my school, but it required me to pay just £200 deposit. So that was a good thing. Secondly, the resumption time was in October. Now, I had my accident that I broke my tooth. I was in the hospital. Most of these schools required me to come in September. I wasn't ready. I hadn't paid my deposits. I hadn't done a lot of things. But Birkbeck was resuming in October, meaning I had more time. However, the downside to Birkbeck, why I was still, just contemplating, was out of all the schools I looked out for, it was relatively the most expensive. My school fees is about 19,200 for international students. So that is really expensive. But also you need to consider that it is in London. My school is at the heart of London. And that was my school fees. Or is my school fees, because I'm still paying it. But yeah, that's my school fees. And that was another thing I put into consideration. Like I told you, you check the fees. Another downside to Birkbeck is it doesn't offer a lot of scholarship opportunities. I think they gave like one scholarship for students from Nigeria, but I missed it because, like I said, I applied late and it was for early birds. So I had missed that. So I didn't get a scholarship. I didn't get any scholarship for the school. And another downside I would say is you require IELTS. So many schools in the UK don't require you to write IELTS. but my school requires me to write IELTS. So, but what I was looking at, like I said, was it offered my course. I knew I was going to be living in London because I was going to be staying with a friend. It was allowing me to resume late to accommodate, my IELTS, because I had put in for my IELTS exams and I had this accident. I couldn't make it for my IELTS exams anymore. So when were my results going to be out? Everything was just late. But Birkbeck, like I said, resumes in October, and I was 1 week late to school, which they had accepted, and they were taking me every step throughout the way. Also, like I said, some schools require you to pay 50% deposit on enrollment. However, Birkbeck allows you to pay your school fees monthly. It's still on the high side because they require you to pay about £2,000 every month, the first day of every month till July, when it's going to be the last term for schooling. So you need to pay about £2,000 every month. But I guess you can still wrap your head around that than a whole lump sum, I guess. Excuse me. So at the time, that was another thing that worked for me. Also, I was thinking about when I was going to work part-time jobs. Birkbeck is the only evening university in London. And so we have our classes between 6 and 8 p.m. I think. I don't have any 8 p.m. classes. I have my classes from 6 to 7:30, which was good for me because I have low attention span. Any class that is above 1 hour, 30 minutes, you would lose me. It's an ADHD thing that I'm battling. But so I was like, okay, then I can work during the day and come to school in the evening. That made a lot of sense. So those are the parts that I considered. A school that was cheap but was asking me for a lump sum, and a school that was expensive but was allowing me to pay in bits, and the school was also allowing me to the school was in the evenings. So these were the things that I put into consideration. So far, I would say that my school is very lenient with fees payments. London is very expensive. I have been blessed. Maybe that's going to be another video. If you watch this one and you ask me, Noya, how are you doing it? Show us the I don't know if I'm going to do the video immediately because my schedule is very, very, very busy and packed. If you follow me on social media, sometimes I share the jobs that I'm up to. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm a student ambassador in my school, which is also a paid job. And so yeah, so I'm working, I'm schooling, I'm sure it's a lot, And so, but I hope that this video, this is my the most realistic I can be with how I went for the school that I went with. And so I'm just going to do a recap of the things that you need to pay attention to in no particular order. So one, you need to know what course you're coming to come and do. You need to know the universities that give you the best option and apply to not less than 3 universities so that you can compare and choose the best deal for you. 3, which are these universities offering scholarships? 4, how much do they require you to pay for deposit and upon enrollment when you come into the UK? 5, when is the resumption time? Is it fine by you? Also, UK universities allow you explore things. You can message your lecturer, ask for more information to find out, when your classes will be, what your lecture structures are going to be, so that you can have an idea and sort of have a plan for your life, sort of, before you come. Those were the things that I put into consideration before choosing my university. Okay, if you need any other questions that you guys have, I already have questions that I plan to answer to in series for these videos. But if you watch this video to this end and you have not subscribed, I don't have anything to say to you. Please subscribe. Your subscription, because then I feel like I'm indebted to you guys. So I have to actually sit down here. YouTube doesn't pay me any money right now. So, and this is not part of the job required of me for my school. So I don't have any reason to come here other than, you guys. So encourage me, subscribe and like this video if you think it was informative enough and it answered your questions as regard what to put into consideration when you're choosing a university to come to. Yeah. All right. see you guys in this next video. It's going to be a series. Bye.